And now, more Utalk now.
Hey guys, what's up? I can't say enough about our guest. We're doing this on location in Arizona. His AKA is Spencer for Hire. And I love it. He has been involved, I think, and he may correct me, but in just about every aspect of the music industry. You name it, he's done it. He's still involved in it. He's been involved in journalism. I mean, all kinds of stuff. He's building community. He's worked with Grammy winners, platinum recording artists, singer-songwriters, producers. Like I said, you name it, he's worked with them. I've gotten to know him a little bit, just even in the last few days, but I'm totally stoked that we've got Randy Spencer on the show with us. So, Randy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here.
I can't believe all the stuff you've been involved in.
Well, God's blessed me a lot. I've done a lot of fun things.
I mean, it's just fun to get to know you, you know, and getting a tour the other day, that was the second one I've had, and we'll talk more about that in a couple minutes, but it's encouraging, and you just light up when you're talking about everything you're doing. But let's go way back. You started kind of a career in journalism, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I started in journalism at the age of 20. I got published in Billboard magazine.
Whoa!
Wrote for a number of fanzines, if you will, which is the equivalent of blogs today.
Sure.
I did that for several years and wrote for a living for about 8 years and interviewed everybody from Reggie White, the Green Bay Packers, to Metallica, to Rush, to Amy Grant, and learned a lot about doing that for a long time for a lot of great magazines.
Wow. Now, were you interested in journalism when you were in school, or how did that happen?
In high school, I was reading rock magazines. I mean, back then we didn't have the internet, right?
Yeah, okay.
Believe it or not, the internet didn't exist at some point in our lives.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
So I was looking at rock magazines literally in high school and thinking to myself, somebody got paid to interview Van Halen and somebody got paid to interview all these rock guys.
Nice.
And I could do that. I want to get paid to do that. And I remembered in the back of my mind a teacher saying, you're a really good writer. And I thought I could maybe make that connection because my dream was to work in music. I just didn't really know the exact pathway to get that. So journalism was a good entry door for me.
Cool. Now, were you a musician as well? Did you play an instrument? Or?
I played bass and still play bass terribly, very badly. And I play drums very badly. So to be in your presence, I'm sure I could use a couple of little drum tips.
We can do that afterwards.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because when you say bass, all of a sudden there's like this connection. Because I mean, the band really is the bass player and the drummer. I mean, you got the other people there, but if there isn't a decent bass player and drummer, then forget it.
Well, that's true. But then I spent time with a gentleman named John Kalodner.
Oh.
Worked with Cher and Aerosmith and Queen and everybody. And he had the philosophy that every great rock band had an amazing singer and an amazing drummer. And not to negate the bass, not to negate the guitar player, but every really major component. Yeah. You look at Metallica, for example, you have a driving force like Lars, and you have an amazing force like James up on stage.
Yep.
That's a great engine to start with.
No, for
you
sure.
Look at Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth with Van Halen.
Yep. Well, I always tell my students, because that's a little side hack of mine, is teaching drums. And I say, guys, who drives the band? And of course, the first time I say that, I get the blank, deer in the headlights looks like, huh? But now they know the drummer drives the band.
But that also depends hypothetically in the song. And that's what's beautiful about art, because you can listen to a song like Under Pressure, and the bass part drives that song. So the bass part gets to shine. One song, maybe the whole set, and then Queen's drummer gets to rock out.
Then he's rocking out.
The foundation, right?
Yeah, no,
for the rest of the set.
That's awesome. So you did the journalism thing, and then you co-founded a record label, did you not?
I started a record label in Nashville in 1995 with a gentleman that I met here in Phoenix, and had the privilege to work with artists like Israel, Viva Voce. We had a chance to put out an artist named Ashley Cleveland that many people know her music. We won a Grammy Award for that record. Ashley's husband went on to be a music director for Kenny Chesney, wrote House of Love by Amy Grant and Vince Gill. Got a chance to work with some really great, phenomenal people. Wow,
that is so cool to be, and to have a startup, and then you're winning those kind of awards.
When we won a Grammy Award, we were nominated at the same time DC Talk was nominated, and the same time Sixpence None the Richer was nominated with the song Kiss Me, and we had no idea that we would win whatsoever. We're like, we're so blessed to be nominated. There's no way we're going to win in the height of DC Talk selling 9 million records, and the height of Kiss Me being number one in 8 countries. and they announced our record to be the Grammy Award winner in that particular category. And a week later, we're getting calls from DC Talk's label. I can't believe you beat us, but congratulations. But
I
it was
love
the
it.
little engine that could, and we got our little star of fame, so to speak.
Oh, that's so cool, though. I mean, I know the excitement of that because I was on an album that was first stage kind of into the Grammys, because you've got that first thing,
Yes.
and then there's the second stage where it's Grammy nominated, and then of course you get the Grammy. We didn't make it past the first stage, but it was just the enthusiasm.
Oh, it's exciting.
No, I mean, I'm part of this thing, you know, and I'm promoting it, and I'm telling people about it, and it doesn't matter. I mean, it would have been nice had we got it, but we were there, so that's very cool. So you really have been. I mean, you really have seen. I mean, because you were writing for Billboard, you were writing for sports, you were writing for music, and now you start the. What motivated you want to start that album? The co-found the album.
We did a label because we just felt like we just wanted to contribute to putting out more records in the world, and putting out really great art. And there was so much really great music around the world, of course, worldwide, but we just really felt, and we felt compelled to make a dime. It's a business venture.
Sure.
And we just had, a unique opportunity. A couple of investors believed in us, and a couple people, backed us up, and then we had an opportunity to have the records be distributed by Warner Brothers. And it's a very tough business. Only 5% of what's released in the majors sell over 3,500 copies. So only 5% become successful.
3,500 copies.
Yes. Only 5% become Pearl Jams, and become, Yellow Cards, and become Jay-Z's, and become, very successful records.
Yeah.
So it's a very competitive, hard business.
You answered the question before me even asking, because I was going to say, talk to those that are watching or listening to the show today, saying, "Oh man, I want to make a record. We want to make a record. We really believe in ourselves." I mean, what nugget of advice would you give to them?
Well, I would say do it.
Okay.
Absolutely make a record, and don't worry about having to become an overnight success.
Mm-hmm.
Create art that's real, and if you create art that's real, and you create the best art, it's a privilege and an honor to do that, and you should do that for yourself, and you should do that because it's rewarding, and that makes your life happier, and that's a great moment and a great season for your life. And if you have an audience of 4 or 14 or 14,000 or 14 million, make an advantage of having the best positive impact on those 14 or 14,000 or 14 million. And also realize, if you're very successful, you're not going to be successful for forever. That nobody has a perfect batting average. You don't get Santana or Casting Crowns or Jimi Hendrix or U2 over the years to always have a home run, multi-million seller every album. That's not reality.
It just isn't reality, but it's. And I like your focus on genuineness instead of doing what's going to sell.
I think that's what moves us, because the genuineness and artist objective, right?
Yes,
so some people could like The Who, and some people could like Celine Dion, and they're both right.
They're both right,
and
absolutely.
they're both moving pieces in different ways.
Yep.
And some people, like I hear, Hillary from Lady Antebellum sing "Thy Will" on the radio, and that slays me. But I also hear Chevelle, and that slays me too.
Yes.
So, but it's a different mood and a different moment in my brain and my heart that I want to hear maybe something heavy and aggressive in one moment, and sometimes I want to be still, just listen to something chill on a piano, like what Hillary does.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's okay. That's all okay. I think that's what we need to realize. It's okay, and I think it broadens us when we can listen to different. I know for me as a musician, it makes me a better musician when I'm hearing and listening and just engaging with something that's different. It makes me more creative.
We can learn from everybody, right?
Yeah,
you
we
can
should
learn
be able
from anybody, from Billy Cobham as an amazing drummer, to James Hetfield again from Metallica, or the amazing vocals of Amy Grant. You can learn from everybody. They're all phenomenally talented. I mean, some of my favorite artists are people like Ladysmith, Black Mazambo, that don't even, play musical instruments.
Yeah.
That you hear 20, 30 vocalists all at once, and it's incredibly inspiring.
Oh, no, absolutely. You remind me of my first drum teacher, because I was self-taught, and I finally decided in high school I'm going to take lessons, and I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I asked around. They said, "This is the guy, if you can get to him." Well, I got to him, Bill Naraki. He was first call for commercials and soundtracks and films and everything. And I'll never forget one day, he said, "Steve, I want you to learn something from every drummer you hear." And I go, "Oh, Bill, come on. Some of these guys couldn't beat their way out of a wet paper bag." And he goes, "Your attitude stinks."
Right.
He said, I want you to learn, maybe it's one fill they do. Maybe it's the way their toms are tuned. And he went through this list, and he was spot on.
Right.
You can learn something. You should be able to learn something from everybody.
Well, you should, and then you can look at like the highest level of drummer. Like I had the pleasure of working with Steve Gadd a little bit, and we were talking to Steve one day about what kind of drum kit you needed, and he said, well, anything will be fine because I can ask for the most renowned, popular drum kit that I need. And then it shows up that they don't have anything. Maybe I go to Portugal or Spain or Mexico or wherever, and then maybe that's not available, and I just have to make do with the kit that I have. And you just have to make the best, with what you have in that very, very moment. But it's also about the drummer, and it's not necessarily about the kit. So, for example, if I'm cooking a meal at home, it's not going to be great because I'm not a very good culinary chef.
Okay.
But if I go to a phenomenal restaurant,
sure,
and that same ingredients is there, and it comes back to me on a plate by a really experienced chef, it's going to look more phenomenal and probably taste a little bit better. But they have years and years of experience doing that. But the person handling the guitar strings, i.e. Eddie Van Halen, might have a whole different feel and tone compared to somebody else playing the guitar. It's more just about the individual, what their emotion is expressing at that moment.
Oh, absolutely. Well said. That is so well, because Gadd is, he can cook it beyond cooking it.
One of the best drummers in the world.
Yes, I admired him. Never had the privilege of meeting him. I hope
so much simplicity in what he does as well. Paul Simon's work and Clapton, but also very complex at the same time. He's very diverse.
Yeah, he's another one of those. I know this is a big mark for Ringo Starr, is Ringo knows what to play and what not to play. Steve is the same way.
Yeah.
And there's a list we could do a whole show talking about drummers.
Yeah,
so
we'll have to do that.
Let's do that sometime. That would be fun. That would.
Mickey Curry is my favorite drummer.
Really?
See him live?
I have not seen him live.
He's so good. There's so many out there.
Oh, there are. David Garibaldi's one of my favorites.
One of the best.
He just epitomizes funk. Unbelievable. Anyway, we will do a drum show.
That's awesome. That'd be great. I'd love to do that.
Oh, now, you have a gift. Just listening to you, like in a meeting we were at the other day, and when you gave us the nickel tour, I think, and just pulling people together, building community, helping to fund projects and all. And you've worked with some of the top people in the industry, and you are now a big part of rock legend icon Alice Cooper's Teen Rock Center.
Yeah, we have 3 teen centers in Phoenix that Alice and Cheryl Cooper started, and it's all a safe space for teens ages 12 to 20 to spend their time. It's sort of like a rock and roll boys and girls club meets Young Life. And teens have a chance to have a safe space to hang out, learn music, art, dance, recording, photography, all for free.
Oh, see, and that's the question that begs to be answered, and you answered it, is what makes the Rock Center so unique, and you just did it. I've been to a few of them across the country, traveling as I do, but I have never been to one where you've got that opportunity, and it's free. You've got music, you've got dance, you've got art, and like the art, when you were showing us, some of the students that came in there have done art for companies like Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell.
We have high-level instructors, and the teens really, literally shop like a rocket. They pick up a paintbrush, and you're like, you've never painted before? And then 4 months later, they're doing really phenomenal, paintings that are being exhibited in our community. And we have opportunities that kids have made stickers for Dutch Bros and T-shirts for Taco Bell, and created wall murals for people like the Oakland A's and the Arizona Coyotes.
Unbelievable.
And, when we have musicians go out in the community, they've been able to open for Johnny Lang and POD, and Skillet and Jackson Brown. And, one of my favorite calls is calling a young punk rock band a few years ago and asking them if they wanted to open for Salsa Distortion in front of 30,000 people at Arizona Bike Week. And we love giving young people an opportunity at our teen center, and we're able to do that a lot.
That's so cool. By the way, when you made that call, did they fall over first and you had to kind of, hey, are you still there? Are you there?
They loved it. They were like aghast by it. We have another young band I called about a month ago. They're very inspired by 80s metal. And we asked them, would you be interested in having Lita Ford record your music in the studio? And they said, of course, we have Lita Ford posters on our wall. And Lita offered to volunteer to record at a recording studio, one of our young bands, and be involved. And they're phenomenal. The band is amazing, but they've learned from such a legend like Lita.
Yeah.
And that's what's amazing about young people, right?
Yes, absolutely.
They're willing to embrace new ideas, and they're willing to be mentored if they have an opportunity to be, I think, respected and acknowledged.
Exactly. I was going to say respect is such a big thing, and acknowledging that they have a talent, they have a gift, and they can do it. Because so many in this generation are just browbeaten. It's just, you're never going to make it. You can't do this. And that's what I love about the center, the teen center, because where else can you go? And you've got these top-level instructors. I mean, you got a state-of-the-art studio at the one in Phoenix. Do you have a studio in the Mesa one?
We have three.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And where can you go and learn that? And then free drum lessons, free guitar lessons, keys, and then the art, and see your art just come alive. For some of these companies, I mean, there's adult artists that have been doing it that they're never going to touch that. But it's that attitude, that freshness, the energy, and if you look at history, who has changed the world? It's always been young people. Yeah, well, our teen center is all about giving kids an opportunity to discover their passions and then be receiving mentorship through that. But 80% of the kids that come to our teen center have probably never picked up a paintbrush, never picked up a guitar, never picked up a video camera, and they have an opportunity to thrive when they find out this is what I'd love to do, and they get the mentorship and guidance to be able to excel at that, and then be able to hopefully have that as a career path. Absolutely, and I don't. It's probably from that famous author Anonymous, but you hear that phrase, find something you're passionate about, and you'll never work a day in your life. Right, for sure. And I mean, I get so excited because I love working with students. I love encouraging them, and just to see, and envision what can happen by coming to the Teen Center. I mean, it's incredible what Alice and his wife Cheryl have done. I mean, it really is. And then pulling a team together, like you and others that I've met there. Now, you have something that I'm really stoked about coming up here in a couple months. It's a music competition. Proof is in the pudding. Tell us about that. We've done a music competition at our teen center for 20 years. Whoa, okay. And we have about 250 kids at ages 12 to 25 apply for every year. Jordan Sparks won our first competition, and she won American Idol 2 years later. And what's also cool about our competition is any music genre can be a part of it. Really? So anything? It doesn't matter. We've had mariachi winners. Really? We've had hip-hop winners, country music winners, metal winners, gospel. As long as they're performing music ages 12 to 25, they're completely welcome. And the winner gets $2,000 cash and also gets a chance to open for Alice Cooper and many celebrities at our Christmas concert that we have every year. Oh, sweet. Christmas Pudding. Can I enter? No, I guess I'm past the age. You got a fake ID. Okay, I'll find that. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But one thing that's really cool about it is it's not just a competition. It's truly a community, and we organically see the kids that want to support each other. And what we mean by that is there's opportunity, right? So when you're in a room with 250 other musicians, you can do shows together. You can write songs together. Yes, you can collaborate. And you can have a chance to learn from each other, and you can encourage each other. And yes, you are trying to get the ultimate prize. Sure. However, we also do maybe 100 shows a year that kids can perform in the community. So even if you don't win, you might get the chance to play at the Arizona Cardinals game, or maybe open for POD, as we've had young people in the past. Maybe sing a national anthem at the Arizona Diamondbacks game, or the Cubs spring training. And we do a lot of things like that all the kids get an opportunity to be involved in something throughout the year. See, there's a whole other dimension that I wasn't even aware of, thinking about, and I should know better, because when you get musicians together, there is a community that starts to develop, even though there's a competition. There's that community. What an awesome experience. And then throughout the year, we do a lot of workshops. So a lot of people come in, and we do jam sessions. Yeah. So a couple months ago, we had Glenn Sobel, Alice Cooper's drummer, come in, and the kids got to jam with him and learn what it's like to play drums for a living on tour with someone like Alice. A few months ago, we had Rudy Sarzo from Quiet Riot, who's played bass for Queensryche and White Snake and lots of famous people. Yeah. Kids got to jam with him, and he brought along a few buddies. We had the drummer Robert Plant,
bass player of Dave Matthews, and the backing singer of Amy Grant. And all the kids got a chance to not only jam with them on stage, but young people got to ask them about songwriting, music production, advice about how to break into the music industry. And that is like free college for young people.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the whole thing. This is free. You walk in the door. And it is like the first time I went, there was a 19-year-old guy that was there. And he started talking to me and my buddy. And, you know, he lives in the park.
Yeah.
But he comes to the teen center every day, and it's a happy place, and people are nice to him, and they respect him. And it's all stuff that you shouldn't have to go someplace else to get.
Yes.
But his father kicked him out of his house, you know, and that's a whole other story. But it's just, it isn't rocket science. And, you know, you guys have put together such a phenomenal, I mean, it's unique. Again, I know of other teen centers, but nothing like this.
We're an all-welcoming place for all teens. It doesn't matter if they're homeless, affluent, atheist, Jewish, Muslim, Native American, whoever they are. As long as they're 12 to 20, they could be LGBTQ, they could be from a famous household, and we treat all kids the same. And all kids, whether you come from an affluent household or you're struggling and you're going through XYZ difficulty, all kids need inspiration.
Yes.
They need encouragement.
Yes.
They need hope.
Yes.
They need reaffirmation.
Yes.
And our teen center offers all of that. And it's also mental health improvement. I mean, sadly, there's a lot of kids that are struggling with, you know, identity issues or suicide, you know, unfortunately,
depression.
It's a super big thing right now.
Anxiety.
For young people to struggle with. And when you come in and you can do art, or you can come in and you can learn from someone and you can play a guitar or scream in a microphone, and you maybe had a challenging day or a challenging week, that's mental health improvement. A lot of kids tell us, I'm bullied at school and I have no friends. Or some kids tell us, I'm homeschooled or I'm not in school right now, and they have no friends. And the socialization and interaction of other teens coming together really builds people up.
No, it's a powerful thing that happens when they come together, and just the simplest. I was just thinking of one of my drum students, and he's asked me a couple times at the end of the lesson, "Hey Steve," I said, "What?" He goes, "Give me one reason to live." And you know, I keep coming up with, you know, he's asked me a couple times, I come up with different things. He goes, "Okay, that's good." You know, and I think he's so young to be asking that question. And yet you're at the teen center, you're giving them art and music and dance and love.
I was with the superintendent of a school district a few months ago, and we were talking about the different challenges that the school district goes through. And she told me that they have kids as early as 4th grade talking about ending their life, as early as 4th grade. And that's something that years ago that nobody would have ever thought was even possible.
That just breaks my heart to think about that.
But there's hope.
Yeah, there is hope. Absolutely.
And kids are screaming for that kind of attention.
They are.
And hope. And you know what's amazing about young people is they can be empowered to do some really incredible things. Let me give you a couple of examples. The Beatles, they formed when they were teenagers. And they became the biggest band in the world. Do you know Mary Shelley wrote the book Frankenstein at the age of 15?
No, I didn't realize that.
Frankenstein at 15.
Whoa.
If any of y'all are writing out there, keep writing. And then she got published with Frankenstein at the age of 18.
Whoa.
And that, obviously, 300 years later, is still a cultural phenomenon. I can go on and on. I mean, Metallica formed at the age of 18. Devin Booker was on the draft, number 13 draft pick at the age of 19. He played his first NBA game at the age of 20. And teens can accomplish amazing things.
They really can.
And they just need kind of a little lift, you know?
Well, here's one that's completely different. I was in Romania and learned about, you know, there was just a horrible leader, and the ones that took that leader down were teenagers.
Wow.
It was teenagers that stood up to the tanks and the troops and said, no more, we're done with it. Many of them lost their lives. But it was teenagers that did it. Said, we've had enough. We are not going to put up with this. So, I mean, anything I think we can do for students. Now, let's go back to the music competition. Okay, let's say somebody is hearing about this, watching us, and they say, I don't live in Arizona.
Anybody can apply as long as they're ages 12 to 25.
Okay.
The competition starts in October, September 30th, actually.
Okay.
And if anyone wants more info about it, the easiest way is text the word proof to 480-351-1765. again, text proof to 480-351-1765. They'll get a video link, and they'll get all the information on how to sign up.
Awesome. So it doesn't matter where they're from. They just get themselves here, register,
Yes.
sign up, and the competition involves all kinds of, no particular genre of music. It's
They
just,
get to hang out with a lot of celebrity judges that come in every single year, and they get a chance to watch other teams perform. We have famous guest musicians that show up as doing surprise cameo concerts
Nice.
Throughout the event.
Nice.
We have free concert tickets. We have kids going to Collective Soul, meeting Billie Eilish and Joan Jett backstage, and throughout the year we give kids a lot of unique opportunities.
Now, see, I wish I had different numbers on my ID. Because I would love to sit down and have a conversation with Billie Eilish. I have great respect for her musically.
It's pretty remarkable. We've had teams sit down with people like Nile Rodgers, who's worked with, David Bowie and Duran Duran and people like that, and Madonna. And we've had 20 kids literally hang with him backstage and ask him questions about songwriting and music production, and they get free, concert tickets to see him perform live. And we've done that with a lot of people. Duran Duran's given us concert tickets, and Avenged Sevenfold, and
that's awesome.
Lady Antebellum, and all sorts of different people like that are really willing to elevate and mentor teams.
I appreciate their hearts. And you don't often hear about that.
No.
And not that they do it because they want to be heard about, but sometimes there's such that negativity that's out there, and that's such a positive thing, and they're doing it for the generation that needs it. Now, talk for a minute about the teen, the 12 to 20-year-old, whatever, who lives in a community that doesn't have a teen center. Where do they go to find community? I know that's such a huge question.
Right.
But where can they go to at least find some kind of community? I wish there was a teen center like what Alice Cooper has done in every community.
Yeah, there's a need everywhere.
There really is, totally.
Yeah, teens can get inspiration with lots of different places. They can go to the library. I'm a big believer in reading.
Yes,
reading
absolutely.
allows us to dream.
Yes.
And I'm a big believer in people to seek spiritual help. So I would encourage people to go to your local church.
Okay.
Local churches often have drama and theater opportunities. They often have music opportunities. And check with your school. As weird as that might sound, I know a lot of people don't like being in school. There's often a lot of after-school activities.
Sure.
And people can connect, sometimes with comic book clubs and dance clubs and different opportunities. And boys and girls clubs, of course, do a really great job. There's opportunities for socialization and pursuing your dreams there.
So it's a matter of being intentional. It's a matter of not sitting in saying, I don't have any place to go, I don't have this, I don't have that. Just say, this is what I like to do. I'm going to intentionally try to find a place where I could do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. However, I would also say, again, teens are so amazing, be proactive.
Yes,
and create your own space.
Absolutely.
So, for example, if you want to play guitar, go to your local music store and say, can we do an open mic for teens, maybe once a month? And ask 6 other teens to open a jam session at a local music store, or go to the local library, or go to the local coffee shop and say, could we set up an open mic, or could we set up a little art station here, and create your own.
No, that's
run your
powerful.
own. You run your own teen center.
That's powerful because it is being proactive.
Yeah.
And they've got the gifts, they've got the talent, they've got what it takes to be proactive.
And it's that old saying. This might be a cheesy saying of sorts, but if you build it, they will come. And if you do things like that, people will come out of the woodwork and say, I'm willing to help. I love what you're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Boy, I appreciate that. That's we've got so much we could talk about. We got to do this again on a couple different topics at least.
We'd love to.
No, I appreciate you taking time out of a busy schedule, because I know you and I are part of this event here in Chandler, Arizona, and we move things around time-wise a little bit so we could make sure we had a chance to get you. And I know you've got a busy day, and your phone's always ringing for different things to do, but I just appreciate you taking the time, and we'll have to talk more about things we can do together, that we can enhance not enhance, but inform, I should say.
I'd love to explore that. That'd be great.
I think it would be really fun. Give us the text number again for Proof is in the Pudding competition.
You can text PROOF to 480-351-1765. That'll get you a video and all the sign-up information for being a part of it.
Awesome. Now, if somebody wants to follow you on social, how do they do that?
They can find me at Spencer for Hire RS, and more importantly, they can go to Alice Cooper Solid Rock on Instagram.
Okay.
And we're at Solid Rock Teen Centers, I think, on Facebook. And
Okay.
you're better at memorizing what our social tag is on that. Or you
We'll-
can search
we'll look it up.
Google for Alice Cooper Solid Rock and you'll find us.
Yeah, no, we'll look it up because I know we've already started following you guys on some of the platforms. But I appreciate it, Randy, very, very much. Not just your time, but your heart.
It's a great privilege to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So we'll look forward to next time.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
This is Utalk Radio